Happy game day, Oilers Nation. Welcome to your Giant pregame show presented by Sherwood Ford. And good spirits in the house today.
Oh, yeah.
After, I know that the Avs beat us 8-6 in game one, but I think we are cursed in game ones.
Whoa.
So it's okay.
It's part of the plan.
It's a part of the plan. It's part of the course, but we're feeling okay.
Yeah. I mean, game one was equal parts frustrating and encouraging, I think. Frustrating from the perspective of, you had a big call that didn't go your way, that really didn't make a ton of sense. The Oilers had that within one goal late and had some great chances to even up the hockey game, and it didn't go their way. And again, they had it within one goal, despite the fact they didn't play good. Like, the first 30 minutes of that game were bad. They had, 8 shots at 5-on-5 in the first period?
They were under fire.
They were. And so that's the frustrating part, I suppose. The encouraging part is they were able to climb back in that game. They were able to score 6 goals on the Avs. And there was a little bit to pull from each cookie jar kind of in game one.
I think that's the big takeaway. We were able to put up 6 against the Avs. Like, that's the takeaway.
And I'm going to give a shout out to Rick at the Pint because he was saying that, the Avs have to be rattled when they know that a team just put 6 goals on them. And I have to agree. The Oilers fought back and managed to do that. But I want to know, obviously, a game-changing moment, because I think that if Makar's goal was taken back and rolled offside, the game could have looked a little bit different, or that window of the game would have looked a little bit different. So what are your guys' thoughts on that? And have we recovered?
Tell you want to go?
I don't think it was a goal. You can stretch the explanation of it whichever way you want. You can show the reverse angle where he's not touching the puck, but that was a blown call by the ref. When you watch that play in real time, I said it as soon as he scored. I said, I think that was offside. Because you could tell Nichushkin hadn't fully tagged up yet. And you can argue what is or isn't possession. And for me, if you bring the puck into the offensive zone and it's 3 inches off your stick blade after you turn 180 degrees and head into the zone, that's possession in my opinion. So this isn't a homer thing at all. I thought the Blake Coleman goal should have counted, and I was adamant about that. This one, the NHL messed up too, though. And if you're going to have offside reviews, you need to get them right. I think the linesman in the moment, there's no way in the moment you're sitting there and going, I think Cale Makar had the puck 3 inches off his stick intentionally. There's just no way. I don't buy that at all. So the explanation, I think, is kind of junk, and I thought the call was junk. The review was junk. And did it cost the Oilers the game? No, because if they would have played better early, if they would have had a way to the Avs responded really quickly after the Oilers scored, pretty much every time. Okay, that's on Edmonton for taking their foot off the gas for a shift after they score a goal. So similar to the Coleman goal for Calgary, that goal did not cost the Flames the game or the series. Agreed. And this one didn't cost the Oilers that game either. They needed to play better, but it was one of the deciding factors.
So, possession is 9/10 of the law. I just felt the need to say that. That is, he had possession, but the way the rule is worded, it gave him that angle to call it good. And so the rule's fudged.
It is.
So that's it, because it could be interpreted that way. That's what ultimately stung us. But yeah, how often is the puck on your stick? You don't have it permanently touching your stick when you have possession. So, anyways, Blake Coleman was a kicking motion, and that's another thing. So, I will take the L on not getting the offside call there because of how the rule was worded. But I will defend to my grave that was Blake Coleman was a no goal.
I think hockey fans need a very clear visual as to what a kicking motion is and what Blake Coleman did was not a kicking
Everyone
motion.
expects the big wind up and on, but it's pushing the puck forward. This is a punch. That is a punch. It's the same shit. But anyways, about the offside goal, the real issue is we scored to tie it.
Yep.
And there was 20 some seconds left on the clock.
And
what did we do? We fell asleep and we let that shit happen. And that is the real travesty. That's what cost us the game because, he scores, offside challenge, now penalty, they score. That was a 2-goal mistake. Just being lazy in those last 20 minutes. All they had to, they just had to close out that period. You close out that period and you go into the second tied 2. It is a different game because we put up 6 on the Avs.
Yeah.
So, that's the one thing I'm so happy we're able to put up 6. That's good for the squad. They're not phased, that's all the positive, but it's just that little moment. And there's a bunch of other mistakes you could you can isolate and talk about, but that one to me was just center ice face-off, you have 20 seconds to kill off the clock.
Even if you lose the draw.
If you lose the draw.
A strong back check eliminates that scoring chance.
Exactly.
It shouldn't have happened.
And that's like you guys should be amped that you just tied the game. So you want to do whatever it takes to just get into that dressing room tied. So that to me is the big thing. So I want to leave it at that. I
want to bring up, and this is the last thing I want to say on this. Kylie brings up a great point in the Twitch chat. She says, I said this on Twitter. If Makar was hit there, it wouldn't have been interference. So how is he not in possession? And that's, and that is to me, that's the number one thing in the argument for why he has possession. If Nurse would have stepped up and gone shoulder to chest on Makar there, he wouldn't have gotten a penalty because Makar had the puck.
Yeah, they needed the wording of the rules is what screwed us here. Like, it's funny, like the whole referees guild is defending this. Outside of Surveyor Brett, he thinks, actually no, he said after finding out he was down. Yeah. But players are like, this is BS.
I think I get so frustrated as a sports fan, and really any league when there's video review and they still get it wrong. Yeah. Like it happened.
But by the letter of the law,
final, it happened in the Western Conference final. I just hate that so much. Like, you have an opportunity to really look at it from so many different angles on video review, and how the hell are you still messing it up? We can breathe in and breathe out. Oilers fans, a new game today. One guy I want to talk about, Mike Smith. Tyler, I know that he's starting tonight between the pipes. A lot of people are saying Mikko Koskinen should be. I know that you don't like that storyline and that narrative. Right now, some stats. Obviously pulled in the second period after letting in 6 goals on 25 shots. In game 1 of these playoffs, guys, .814 save percentage. In every other game of these playoffs, he has a .935 save percentage. Obviously struggling in game 1s, but after game 1, Mike Smith has done his job in between the pipes. Is that why you're so your stance is solid for Mike Smith starting tonight?
Well, let's talk about game 2 specifically here, and Liam has the stats up. He's got a .963 save percentage, a 1.5 GAA. In game 2s, he's been outstanding, stopping 67 of the 70 shots he's faced against LA and Calgary. You obviously had to give this guy the start tonight. And people who were like, oh, remember early in the regular season when Mikko played good against Colorado? It's like, yeah, okay, I remember that. But that doesn't matter now. Like, Mike Smith has done enough through 2 rounds of these playoffs to deserve the start tonight. He's bounced back well in both rounds of these playoffs. He deserves the start tonight. Like, there's no logic behind saying Koskinen.
We're in the Western Conference Finals, and he was our goalie.
Yeah.
So, like, why would you abandon ship?
I don't know.
If he has two absolute stinkers,
if he's bad tonight, then I think there's a conversation about going to Mikko for game 3. But I don't think he'll be bad tonight. Was he that bad, or did we just the thing about Colorado is they come at you hot out of the gates, and you got to be able to sustain and survive that. And somehow limit the damage. We weren't able to limit the damage, and they were able to put in goals fast on us. So it was 16 shots on goal for Colorado in the first period. The goals that went in. Okay, Comfer goal, not his fault. That was a cross-ice pass, and Comfer buried it. McKinnon goal, second or third best player in the NHL coming down on a breakaway, not his fault. Cale Makar goal, long-range shot, but it was a great shot, but not really his fault. Maybe
that was long range.
But so maybe I would say one of those.
It was an elite shot. He zipped that.
He zipped it. Maybe you'd want him to stop one of those. The Kadri goal early in the second, I didn't really think that was on him, and the Rantanen goal that eventually got him yanked or whatever. Like, again, maybe you'd like him to give up one less than he did, but I don't look at Mike Smith as being awful. Game 1 against Calgary, he was awful. He was terrible. He was the reason they lost that hockey game, in my opinion. Last game, I don't think Mike Smith was the standalone reason. So, again, I have no issue going back to him. As Will says in the Facebook chat, it's Mike Smith's net. And it is
100%.
I completely agree with you guys. I would keep Mike Smith in here for game 2, but I do want to give Mikko Koskinen some credit because I feel like he's sometimes put into these positions where it's like sink or swim. And I do think he did a good job in net for the Oilers in a situation where, Mike Smith let in 6 goals on 25 shots and the pressure is on and they're playing a very, very good Avalanche team in Colorado. And I think Mikko sometimes is put into these very tough situations where he could be the hero or everyone could just absolutely tear him apart. So I'd like to give him some credit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. He stood in there. One thing I also, I noticed, but still, he was still able to perform. Connor got 3 points, right, last game?
Yeah, he did. Third star of the game.
He takes away a lot of his ice. He's good with his stick. So that'll be an interesting thing to develop. But Connor still put up 3 points. So that'll be interesting to see.
McDavid didn't look like himself, though. I didn't think that was peak McDavid by any means.
No, he wasn't Turbo McDavid.
The interesting numbers that I found. So when McDavid was on the ice against McKinnon and Landeskog, it was just around 13 minutes. And the Oilers got outshot 10-9, but they actually outscored the Avs 2-1 when it was just McDavid against McKinnon and Landeskog. When it was McDavid against the Taves and Makar pairing,
yeah, they're the ones.
That's what was really the driving factor in shutting down Connor McDavid. Because when he was on the ice against Taves and Makar, they were outshot 13-6, and the Avs outscored them 2-1. So it's interesting
home ice will be very important for us for them to avoid them. Yeah.
When this series, and I also think that's a little on Jay Woodcroft to try to have some more creative ways to get McDavid out there without Taves and Makar on the ice, and that's why. And we can get into this maybe with the lineups. I would have gone 11-7 tonight for a handful of reasons.
Yeah, to move McDavid around.
You move McDavid around. Archibald and Cassian, I get the fourth line scored, but you can pull out one of those guys and you're not missing.
Cassian played better.
So pull out Archibald. You're not missing anything if you take out Josh Archibald. And also, you need to give Darnell Nurse a break. He's so hurt. He can't pivot.
Oh, my God.
Everyone's talking about him in the chat. I get he's injured, but if you have a player that is that injured and is making crucial mistakes, you need to take him off the ice. And that is nothing against Darnell Nurse. That is just the reality of the situation. Yeah. And he's not doing any favors for the Oilers, so he needs to rest.
Like he's just letting guys go around him, or he's letting guys win battles, or he's not even entering the battle. So like obviously there's something there that's forcing him to not engage like that. And if there's one thing you need to do with these guys, because they attack with speed, you need to engage with them.
Yeah. I'm worried about the Oilers' ability to defend off the rush. That's the one thing that I'm taking away from game one. That's actually like a real concerning factor for me. Because if Nurse can't keep up and defend off the rush, that's a big problem. Yeah. Because Keith and Bouchard cannot do it. They're not good off the rush. Yeah. And, Kulak, I think, is fine. The other change I'd make.
Kulak's look good.
I would go, if you're not going 11-7, which they're not, they're going 12-6 again by all reports. I think you got to put Nurse with Barry on the third pairing. You got to go Kulak, Ceci as your top pairing. You need a line that can just go head-to-head with McKinnon for his 15 5-on-5 minutes a game. Yeah. And you need to be able to keep up with the pace of that line. Nurse Ceci couldn't do it last game. Kulak Ceci, I'm more confident in as a pure shutdown duo. Mm-hmm. And then on the third pairing, Nurse Barry, give him offensive zone starts all you want. Let him go out there against more inferior competition where, maybe the offense is coming more off the cycle from the Avalanche when it's their third and fourth line. And that's where Nurse, I think, can still play a pretty solid role. But he can't be on the top pairing right now. And it's because he's hurt. It's not because he's a bad defenseman. It is because he's hurt.
And that's what sucks, is that he's hurt. The one thing we learned last last game is with a minute and a half left and your goalie pulled, you probably shouldn't have Tyson Barrie quarterbacking your 6-on-5.
And it was interesting that against LA, they were going with Bouchard in that situation.
Yeah.
I would have Bouchard out there.
There were some frantic decisions made that just led to
empty netters on him.
Yeah, that led to giving away the puck.
And a bad shot, too.
Yeah, so, that's where Bouch has just got ice in his veins.
Yeah, I would have Bouchard out there with a minute left. I wouldn't have Bouchard. I think Barry's been good on the power play.
Yeah,
I thought the power play, a few people pointed that out, actually, and I should probably find it in one of the chats, but it was in the Twitch chat. It was Davinsky who says it looked like an early season power play from the Oilers. And they went 1 for 2, and they very easily, they were so close to tying that game on multiple attempts on that second try. So there was a lot to like, and there are some areas where I think they need adjustments, but Jay Woodcroft has been the better coach in both series that the Oilers have won. I trust him to make the necessary adjustments.
Yeah. We didn't lose 8-1. We lost 8-6. So it's there's a lot of good that we can take away from that. And so, expect some adjustments. Mm-hmm. Expect, some better play. Schmitty battles, man. Schmitty doesn't like getting embarrassed. He hates it when he sits on the bench and watches the game. So, he's going to show up. And then Connor.
Jay Woodcroft today with Smith specifically described him as an alley cat. He said he's got to fight. He's always had to fight and scrap for everything he gets. Yeah. He's an alley cat, not a house cat that's just going to sit and be warm and fuzzy and take the food in their bowl. Mike Smith's going to go out and fight for it.
He's going to go get those mice.
Yeah, and tonight I think you're going to see an alley cat Mike Smith full force.
Get us them mice, buddy.
The only thing I took away from that is Jay Woodcroft's a cat guy, and I appreciate that. So we learned
I actually think it's a
we
Bob
learned something
Stauffer
new.
line originally that Woodcroft stole.
Hilarious. That is actually hilarious.
Bobby.
You want to move on to lines, guys?
Yeah, sure. We can discuss the lineup a little bit more here. For the Oilers, it was interesting to see the flip they did with their top six. When they went down, they went back to the nuclear option and put Kane back on the top line. I'll be interested to see what they end up doing with that top six from the jump tonight because, again, I don't mind Kane. Kane scored when he was away from McDavid and Draisaitl last game.
Great pass by Nuge.
Yeah, but TSN's Ryan Rishaug does have it as Kane, McDavid, Draisaitl on the top line. Nuge, Yamo, Hyman as the second. McLeod, Puljujarvi, Fogle as the third, and the usual fourth line. I loved what we got from that third line. I thought Puljujarvi, aside from the first goal, when he maybe could have back-checked a little bit better, he was throwing his weight around a few times.
Yeah,
His forecheck was really
back.
good. And Ryan McLeod, he almost tied the game, like
know.
within inches of tying that hockey game.
Yeah, that and he got one too, though,
did
right?
get
So
one
that
too,
was
yeah.
good. And he's flying around the ice. That's
Fogle
good.
looked good.
Fogle.
I know. I was about to say you guys
it's
manifested
coming.
that.
Playoff Fogle is
You
starting to
guys
form.
Manifested. I thought he scored at one point.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys.
He made a great
manifested
pass,
that.
though,
Yeah, he did.
on the goal.
He
Yep.
did. He did really well.
And then the D pairings are going to stay the same. If they were going to go 11-7, Rishaug was reporting that it may have been Philip Broberg who got the call because they like his skating, they like his puck moving. And actually, Will in the Facebook chats made a great point about one of the keys tonight has got to be that they need to get the first pass going, right? And he even Will even said, McDavid struggling the way he did is probably a result of not being able to get him clean first passes out of the defensive zone. I think that's a big part of it. They need to move the puck better. Defending off the rush and then being able to attack off the rush is going to be huge. Gregor wrote about how the Oilers' big guns, McDavid didn't get a chance off the rush. Draisaitl didn't get a chance off the rush. Hyman didn't get a chance off the rush. Kane had one and he scored. So getting chances off the rush is huge, and that starts with the puck moving from the back end.
Yep. Yeah, and we have to stop giving it away in our own end with the soft dumps up the boards.
Oh, my God, I know.
To no one. If there is no option, just off the glass, get into the neutral zone, and just reset.
Yep.
Let's move on to the Avs and maybe start with Darcy Kemper because he's out. He's out for game 2, upper body injury, which a lot of people are saying was blurred vision, and that he apparently he couldn't see the puck.
Well, so he got that stick in the eye against Nashville, and they talked about that a lot on the broadcast, and he missed those 2 games to end that series.
Yeah.
Came back for the last series, played. I mean, I'm not a doctor. I will not pretend to play one on an internet talk show.
Dr. Yurchuk.
But it maybe that's an issue that's still lingering. Maybe it's just an upper body thing. He did take a couple of shots off the mask they showed on the broadcast.
Which may have knocked the vision thing into place.
Maybe.
So he's not available tonight. It's going to be Pavel Francouz, who has never
started
a game against the Edmonton Oilers in his NHL career. But if you think this is
you can't take it lightly.
He's good.
He came in and he did well. He made some big saves because we were coming there in the third there. So he made some big saves. So we can't yes, I'm excited that he's in net.
He doesn't have the high level that Kemper does. Kemper's best and Francouz's best are very different.
Exactly.
They're not the same. But Francouz has a career 921 save percentage in 57 career games in the NHL.
921?
921. This guy's good. He's
better than Kemper then.
I was surprised that they got... Part of the reason I was surprised they went and got Kemper is because I thought Francouz earned the net. If you think they're getting just some random backup goalie who makes league minimum, they're not. Francouz is a really, really good goalie.
Yeah.
This isn't going to be a cakewalk because the backup.
And Kemper hasn't been playing that well, so this could be an upgrade, right? So we have to take this serious.
The only thing I'd say is that maybe he's battling some nerves, and if I'm the Oilers, I'm coming out quick, and I'm shooting fast.
Yeah, so I mentioned a career, and that's a good point. His career 921 in the regular season, career 891 in the playoffs.
That's the guy we want. That's our guy.
We need playoff Francouz, not regular season Francouz.
Thank God it's the Western Conference Finals.
And the rest of the Avs lines, the only thing that might change, Landeskog took a maintenance day. He's going to play. Burakovsky blocked a shot and went down and left the game. He didn't skate this morning, so maybe no Andre Burakovsky for the Avalanche either. Waz is calling, and I don't know why he would put this out there. Francouz at Jake Ottinger 2.0.
Oh,
come on, Waz. You got to be better than that, buddy.
Why that energy,
gotta
bro?
Be better than that, Waz.
Oh my God! Are you even an Oilers fan?
The silence is the disappointment
Honestly,
in you, Waz.
we don't even know how to transition out of that.
Yeah,
bro.
But the rest of the lineup for the Avs is going to stay the same. Again, I think the big adjustments here: get to Francouz. His
Yeah,
career
I agree.
playoff numbers aren't good, and
Have to.
he is a better goalie than I think a lot of people give him credit for.
Yeah.
But the Oilers have made good goalies look bad. They made Kemper look not great. They made Markstrom look terrible. They got to Quick towards the end of the series too.
Yeah.
Like the Oilers can make him look bad. It's just not going to be a cakewalk, and you got to get McDavid away from Taves and Makar. However you do that, I don't know, but you need to try.
All right, awesome stuff. Jay, you were mentioning that you put a lot of money down on the money line. Was it?
We manifesting Oilers
I'm
win
just
tonight?
going Johnny Lunch Pail again. All right. You know, it's juicy already on the money line. And, you know, to win a series, especially when we don't have home ice, we've got to win one on their ice.
Oh, Tyler's
No.
So,
itching. He's
yeah.
like, wrap it up.
Yeah. So anyways, I'm taking the Oilers. I obviously a lot of promise from last night, but like I don't want to get too greedy. So just went money line. It's juicy enough. And let's get that win.
Interesting.
Anyway, overtime, regular time, just get the W. Let's come home with a win.
On Daily Faceoff today, my bets of the game were Draisaitl over 1.5 points.
That is, you can set your watch to that.
Yeah, plus 110. I also had McKinnon over 1.5 points because that's Daily Faceoff. Your Amtrak giving those picks. Oilers Nation, your Amtrak loves
You're a
the money
Jake
line
Ottinger
tonight.
fan too?
No. I would never say that. I love the Oilers money line, like you said.
Yeah, it's juicy. Why
It's-
even risk?
Don't get cute would be my advice
Yeah,
there.
don't get greedy.
If you wanted to maybe try make some extra money on top of that, Oilers over 4.5 goals in regulation. I don't know. Pays out if you can find it. It pays
I'd
out
say
like
yes.
plus 180.
I'd say yes. I
That's
feel like
interesting.
It's another roller coaster ride today for you Oilers fans.
I love that the over's been shifted to 7.5, depending on where you're looking, which is hilarious. Like the Oilers factor on
I
the
know,
over under
I
has
know.
been is real.
Before we get to Liam's favorite props today, just going to rattle off a few here. Kylie's taking Hyman to score at plus 170 and Dry over
automatic. Say
1.5.
watch that too.
Yeah, she's also going money line. And then I saw on Twitter, I asked people for their predictions. Trevor said he's going Oilers win over 6.5. Power play and empty net goal in the same game. That's an interesting
Is
bet.
that a like a giant parlay that pays $1 million?
And then Bouchard is an anytime goal scorer. I don't mind that.
Yeah. He's due.
Yeah.
He's due. The Boosh bombs will be released.
And Bob just gave a straight up prediction. He said 3-2 in OT with Barry as the winner.
I will take that all day, Bob.
would-
Let's go.
Nothing like an OT. Would rather win in regulation, but an OT win to flip the momentum coming back home to Edmonton.
Winning
Come
an
on.
OT is great as long as we win.
And
as
I
long as
know
you win.
Frank said momentum doesn't go game to game, but I actually disagree with that. I think momentum can go game to game.
I think we saw that a little in Calgary. I don't think it always does.
I agree. I don't think it's consistently the rule, but I do think that
can,
teams
yeah.
have that ability.
We get a W in their barn.
It's huge. That's
It's
why.
just-
Okay,
yeah.
before we started the pregame show, I was saying I think today's a really big game because we are now on Colorado's turf. We're on their ice. If we can come back to Edmonton with a tied series, I don't want to say it, golden though. Like I think it's huge.
It's
big.
like for me mentally, I need this. Like I'm
You're the
going
only
Saturday. I'm nervous. I'm excited. Let's get it. Let's prove to ourselves we can get a W, and let's do it tonight.
I really think you guys can.
We could have won last game.
I actually
Yeah.
think that if you guys had maybe an extra 5 minutes in that third
Yeah.
period, you guys
We were
could've-
coming.
You guys were coming.
Yeah, we were coming.
I'm honorary.
Yeah,
Liam,
hell
what's
yeah.
what's your points bet of the game?
I'm in on the Nuge.
Nude.
I think the Nuge is the
playoff
guy
Nuge is
tonight.
engaged right now.
So his assist total, to get an assist, he's plus 110.
Okay.
I feel like if he's going to get a point, he's going to get an assist. But to score, he's plus 280. And I think I'm going to go with that. To score. And then also, instead of the assist, I'm just going to go power play point at plus 195. And then obviously, I woke up this morning, turned over, and hit Draisaitl at 1.5. So.
First thing you do.
You're not kidding.
Before
when
I
you say
took
that,
my
eh?
first
No.
breath this morning, I bet
Liam,
on.
that's not like a figure of speech. You actually do that.
He's got a
Yeah.
tattoo.
He wakes up. He has his breakfast banana.
Banana.
And he bets on Draisaitl over 1.5
His stress
points.
banana.
It's worked so far.
The Twitch chat was wondering what the banana
I had
situation.
a banana for breakfast. Actually, we got a fresh supply. I'm a big peanut butter and banana toast guy.
With jam or no?
Really?
No jam on that.
jam.
No, you don't need jam on that.
Peanut butter banana. That's
Peanut
not
butter banana is
It's a good combo.
It is it's elite.
bad. The Twitch chat wants to know how many stress bananas last game, Liam, and how many are you rationing for tonight?
I actually didn't have any last game because it was just anger. I wasn't
So what do you
stressed,
eat when
I
you're
was-
angry?
I just hold my hands
Anger
really
apples?
close in fists together. And just
Liam's the
really
best.
tight.
I wish you guys could see it.
Yeah, Liam's going like this right
Just
now.
like this.
All right.
Keys to the game.
Shout out to Yegburger.
Yes, Yeg Burger. They're delicious.
Ooh, what are
Yeg
their
Burger.
items of the
Actually, I
month?
could really go for a burger right now.
Here, I'm Chuck. Pre-game
Yes, sir.
burger.
Yeah, it might be pregame burger time.
Yeah.
Why don't like the next show we go and get Yeg Burger and eat it on the show?
We should do the pre-game from Yeg Burger.
Yeah, why don't we do that?
Yeah, we could probably do that.
Okay.
Yeah, we could plan for that.
All right, we're coming Saturday.
What are we today
Okay,
only?
perfect.
It's
Cowboy Chris might be in the house. He is such a tough guy to chase down. He says he'll be at every show.
Yeah.
And comes to no
Well,
shows.
Cowboy Chris is a vibe.
He is a vibe. He's been Coach Chris the last
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
So
Dad duties.
dad duties, yeah.
But anyways, Yegburger keys to the game. For me, it's going to be dominate the transition play and the attack off the rush. You need to defend it better. You need to happen to the Avs better. Score off the rush, defend off the rush, That's my key to the game.
Shoot the puck, man. I
Yeah.
know that Francouz has good numbers, and I'm not like underestimating him. I'm just saying that there are nerves when you come into a Western Conference final playoff situation. Shoot the freaking puck, and then agree with you. When we score, because I'm manifesting that we are going to score. It's not a matter of if, it's when. We need to do a better job of not letting that Colorado Avalanche force come down our throats. We need to stop that and eliminate a quick goal.
Yeah, these are all great to add to it. I just, put some focus and, two things. Let's play in their zone a little more than we did this game, and let's also tighten things up in our zone. Because these guys are good. Like they got a lot of horsepower. They're gonna come at us. So like we gotta bend and not break as much. So just if it's limiting Nurse, so we can get someone who can go engage in those things, and making that switch in those situations, like whatever we need to do collectively, we need to play better in our own zone. Because like it wasn't necessarily Mike Smith's fault that he got pulled. It was just we couldn't handle the initial onslaught that the Avs deliver. And that's what they do. I watched them in the St. Louis. They come out hot. So limit the damage.
Yeah.
And I want them to know that they can freaking do it. I mean, they put 6 goals on them.
Yeah.
And they started to come back. So, they have the absolute ability. We saw them do that 3 times in the regular season. I know playoffs are a different beast, and there's a whole different kind of energy, but I think that they're able to do it. You just need big games from a couple big players.
Gotta believe it's the playoffs.
I think it's so funny that, Oilers go and play LA. LA's like kind of a tight defensive team. And then we'd like blow it up, and then we go play Calgary, who like led the league in like goals against.
Yeah.
And then we force them to blow it up, and it's these high scoring bars. Then we go to play Colorado, and it's the same. It is amazing, like the Oilers factor in a playoff game.
Yeah,
It's immediate shootout.
It's always chaos. I love it.
It's honest to God. I remember sitting at the Pint, game 1, and I'm like, Oilers hockey hits different because it's like this. Like, you cannot breathe. When you guys are up a couple goals or when you just score a goal, you can't breathe because something's going to happen where there was like a few times where I sat there, I'm like, you guys, it hits different.
Yeah.
And this is coming
It's
from a Leafs
different
fan.
this year. Like
This is coming from a Leafs fan
Yeah.
who like can expect everything to happen. That's insane. You guys have the same thing going on here in Edmonton, but what a cool position to be in.
Like our last run in 16, 17, they won a game in San Jose 1-0. They scored in the first. I was at the game. They scored in the first period
And then held
and
on.
then held off. And I'm like, whoa. And now it's just like we're not that team, and we're also making other teams that actually have good defense also not be themselves. It's so wild. Like this must be like this is very good for hockey. Like people on the outside who's not vested into this, like we are. Like, this must be so enjoyable. Like, if you're a newcomer to hockey
honestly.
and you watch that game, you're just like, what am I? This is amazing. Like, because it's just high octane shit.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Watch party tonight is at Beercade. I'm hosting. You'll be there.
I'll be there.
There you go. Good time guaranteed.
Good times will be had. Oilers will ensure that.
Mm-hmm.
I got a good
All right.
feeling, guys.
I do too, actually. I'm like somewhat confident in them.
I feel like I have to stay cautiously optimistic at least once
Yeah.
Got
a
to.
pregame show because it's been like
That's
a
the
really
mantra.
good omen.
Yes. Are you charging the
I'm
crystals?
charging the crystals.
Okay.
I'm not as, you know what I mean? I've stopped putting it on social media because I've actually noticed that other teams in the NHL say that they have magic, and I'm like, they're catching on to our magic. So I'm protecting the
It's a
Oilers.
copycat league.
Honest to God, I'm protecting the Oilers' energy right now, but I was nervous before. Now I'm a little bit more calm in the pregame show, and I want to remain cautiously optimistic. But
How's Mike doing?
Mike, honest to God, lost his mind when Cale Makar's goal stayed onside. Like 15 times in my ear at the Pine, he's like, bro, there's no way that should have counted. Like on repeat. And like his face was red. And then every time the Oilers scored, it was him, Rick, Jared, a couple other guys. I've never seen such a genuine embrace.
Oh yes.
Yeah, you guys are awesome.
It gets
fans.
romantic. It gets romantic.
Yeah, but another game, guys. All right.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Thanks, everyone, for watching. This has been your Giant pregame show presented by Sherwood Ford, and go Oilers.